Hello guys, Alex Fedotoff here, and today we have Sam with us. Again, Sam, so if you're watching my YouTube channel, you already know Sam. Sam is amazing. He's such, there's so much wisdom this guy has. And again, as it was previous interview, make sure you watch, make sure you rewatch, take notes, because this guy is so smart and we'll share some of the insights, some of the things that he's learned since our last interview. That will be valuable for everyone. So thank you for joining me today, Sam.
My pleasure, and you flatter me very much. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. it's like entrepreneurs, they kind of grow all the time, right? We have growth mindset, and it's like for example, I don't consider myself as a very successful person, because my benchmark for very successful is so high. It's constant chase, right? It's kind of we're constantly chasing something.
I think I'm 5% of what I should be, I think.
Exactly. That's what that is. Exactly, man. Exactly. Cool, man. So what is going on for you? What's it been like since our last interview? So what have been major changes?
Yeah, I mean, a lot's gone on. I've become a dad, which is great.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, so that's changed a lot, and it's taken a lot of my time away. But the thing that's really, there's three things that have really happened. And it's true, since our last call, my level of thinking has really, really increased. The level of which I'm looking to play at now is so higher than anything even I thought when we first spoke a few months ago. So the main thing I'd say that's happened a lot is my team has become even better. I'm so proud of them. Everything that we are today is because of them.
Like bigger or better?
Bit of both. We've added a few new people to the team, but I'd say mainly better. I'd say they're double, they're twice as good as they were before. They really, especially since I had to go away for a couple of months. I've had a bit of a tragedy in the family. In that time frame, they all really stepped up. From when I left to when I came back, we were making more money when I came back than when I left. And that was without I didn't do anything for literally 7 weeks. I did nothing at all. I was in grieving. So they really crushed it. And so now I've been back only 3 weeks or so. I've taken a massive step whereby I've made a conscious decision where I do not tell anyone what to do anymore. I've scrapped it. And it's the next big quantum leap in my learning and my evolution as being a CEO and a leader. Because everyone starts obviously, I've got a video about this, but you start as a solopreneur, then you grow to a team of 4, 5, or 6, then you get to a team of 10, 15. Then after that, there's different tiers. When you get to a certain level, and I've realized I've just crossed this threshold now. There's so many books that talk about it, but only when you get there do you realize I've crossed the threshold where now I don't tell anyone what to do. I act as a mentor. Our whole team is fully structured. The way in which we do things is great. I can break that down if you want a little bit in a second. 100%. Okay, well, it's really simple. There's some really core tenets that we practice in our team. All I do now is I have calls with the leaders in our team, and then they have the team underneath them and they deploy. So how it basically goes is this: on Monday mornings at 10:30 a.m., we have a company-wide strategy meeting where everybody in the company is on the call. And we just talk openly about strategy, money, business. In our team, everything is transparent. So everybody in the company, whether it's from a customer service person all the way up to the directors, everyone knows exactly how much money the company makes every single day. We know how much we spend on ads. We know how much profit the company's made. So we're fully transparent. So on the Monday.
Okay, so those numbers you said, everyone on the team, from the lowest kind of rank person, the highest, everyone knows the numbers.
Yeah, everybody.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's important because all our commissions and bonuses get paid on profit at the end of the quarter. So everybody knows fully, everyone knows what everyone gets paid. We have a fully transparent model in our business. So on the Monday, we talk about that. We look through the numbers in detail, look at the numbers from last week, how many days we made profit, how much profit we made, if we had any losing days, what happened, what went wrong. We just talk strategy. It's a full open discussion. Anyone can say anything. I tend to lead it with a few topics, but in general, we have a strategy call on a Monday, 10:30. They tend to last around 2 hours on average. And then after that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10:30 a.m., I have a huddle with the leaders. So there's 8 leaders in the team. They're basically heads of division.
Can you define those leaders? What type of leaders? Like marketing team leader?
Yeah, exactly. So one's a creative director, one is the branding director, one is the marketing director, one is the product design manager, one is the head of manufacturing, COO, and the business data manager. So all of us, and then me. So that's the 8 of us, and we get together on a call every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half an hour. We talk about what we did the day before, what we're planning to do today, 5 minutes each, discuss any major things. Basically, we just huddle, get ready for the day, and then obviously we execute. And that normally takes about half an hour. And on Friday, we have book club. Book club is a great initiative that I advise everybody to do. Everybody should do book club. What's book club? So in our company, everybody from the VA who does customer service all the way up into me, and
these are Patrick Ben David, aren't they?
No, we actually initiated this recently from, I can't remember where from, but book club has been an amazing thing. It's been the best initiative the company's ever put forward. Everyone loves it. And so what it is, and we track this, we track this actively. Everybody in the company has to spend the first hour of the day, listening to an audiobook, whether on personal development or professional development, it doesn't really matter. We just want people improving themselves. So we subsidize Audible. We give everybody $30 a month to get at least 2 books a month. If they want to get more, we're happy to pay for it. But it's not just Audible. If you find a YouTube video or YouTube series or just anything to better yourself in the first hour of the day, do that. And then on Friday, we have book club, which is 2:30. And we really end the whole week on this. We start 2:30 or 3, and everybody comes on and we just talk openly, all of us, about only the leaders. So we don't get everybody involved in book club. The other people, we might actually introduce everybody to it, but it's just the leaders. We talk about the lessons we learned that week, what we took from things, what we liked, what we didn't like, how we bettered ourselves. We share, different books, different ideas. And yeah, it's really fantastic. And book club tends to go on for about 2-3 hours. Like it finishes the whole Friday. Now, I used to think, oh, that's inefficient. We're killing nearly half a day on Friday, and it's actually not. It actually wraps up the week. Everyone really gets a lot done from Monday through to Thursday. So we share a lot there. Book club evolves into talking about the business, and it's such a great 2-3 hours on a Friday that everyone just loves it. Rolling into the weekend, it's just so great. It's the best thing we've ever done in the company.
Tell me this. Wow, this is fucking amazing. Some of these things, I think we could also borrow, for our team. So tell me this. Okay, so these, let's say, 8 executives, you have these meetings. So it's kind of like more like a group call, right? Like everyone is talking, just kind of like conversation. Is that in the office or that's like remote? All
remote. Everything we do is remote. All of it's online. Everything, yeah.
So your team right now is like in the office or it's like hybrid?
Everything's remote. So we haven't. So it's a good question you say that, because we're growing so fast, and our brand, right? And it's going, like, we have the opportunity to turn this into a $1 billion brand, like legit $1 billion brand. So we actually have an office, but no one goes to it. It's like the product designers go more often than not. We have more of a design studio. So the product designers go more often than not, like 3-4 times a week. We have the product design meetings there twice a week and stuff. And it's open to, we have like 5-6 people here locally that go to the office. The office is big enough for about 8-9 people, but it's really just the space we have. The product designers love it. They enjoy prototyping stuff there, but we're going to definitely need to get a much bigger office, a proper office, let's say, towards the end of the year. But right now it's everything is remote. Everyone stays at home. We don't really go to the office at all. Not at all.
Okay, so these, so you said like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So every day you have this call with top executives?
Yeah, the huddle is 10:30 every day. And then Friday we skip it because we have book club in the afternoon, which goes on for like 2-3 hours. So Friday we skip the 10:30 huddle and just have a big book club in the afternoon, let's say.
Okay, so on top of that, do you have like one-on-ones with your like team leaders?
Yep. So how we do it is on Monday, we set the strategy for the week and what we're planning to do. Then obviously we have the little huddles each day. Now, if someone wants something from me, they message me and we jump on a call. I don't request calls anymore. All I do is mentor people when they need help. Outside of the strategy session and the huddle, they don't really need much from me. Like like these people in their individual areas are better than me. Like there's nothing I'm gonna tell Benno about ads that he doesn't already know. To be honest, 9 times out of 10, I'm just slowing him down, to be honest. Same for my branding director, same for my creative director. They already know everything. So I'm just slowing them down. All they do from me is get my opinion and ask for mentorship about, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? And I help set the direction for the company on a high level. Outside of that, I don't bug them. In fact, so much so, I've removed myself from Slack. I don't do any communication in Slack anymore. If anyone wants to talk to me, they Skype me.
Oh, really? You didn't have, wow, you didn't have Slack?
No. Because I realized when I came back that this was the right thing to do. Within the first 3-4 days, everybody in the company was so reliant on me and asking me to make decisions for them. When I was gone, they were doing it all themselves. When I came back, they all started to ask me, and I was like, "Why are you asking me for? Why are you asking me for? Why you know what to do?" So I just removed myself from Slack, and so now they only come to me if they really, really want a one-on-one call. Outside of that, they do their own thing.
So you took this approach, right? This is the bandage, right? And you just like,
yeah. Well, the tragedy in my family had forced me to do that, and then when I came back, within 3-4 days, I saw it slipping back to the way it was, and I was just like, no, this ain't happening. And I just jumped out, and now it allows me to focus on way higher level things, and I can talk about that as well if you want. Like my whole approach to this game is completely changed, man. It's changed like completely.
Man, yeah, we're 100%. We'll talk about that. I want to kind of like understand, like from this kind of like those major, because like for me, like I'm on Slack all day, you know, and like, and you know how it is. Like the fucking Slack is like crap, you know. It's like messages, like this person, like just like you go like you basically juggling those like from one conversation to another, one conversation to another, one conversation to another. Wow, man. I mean, that's so. I think I'll definitely test it. It's kind of like as entrepreneur, like I think it's, as you said, it's part of the growth is like you want to have control. Like you're like most entrepreneurs are saying like control freaks at least like at the beginning, but then like to grow, right? Like you probably have to do those things where like you just let it go.
Yeah, you have to, but you have to have great people, man. That's why I said my team are everything. Without having great people, those the leadership team, even under the leadership team, they have to have obviously great people underneath them. But especially the leaders in my team, they you know, it's kind of an unwritten rule because they know my character. They all have basically stock options in the company. You know, in years to come, as we grow, as we, you know, maybe I end up setting this brand, which probably will be the case for, you know, with a B on the end. I'm going to give all of them a huge payday for being with us and having loyalty, and they already know that. So I think not just about the money, they love working in our team, but they also know that obviously we pay great basic salaries, we pay great commissions as well, but they also know when we have that big exit, they all have a huge check, and I'm going to write it with a massive smile on my face. You know, it's not going to be anything that's begrudging. It's going to be something that's done with a massive heart. So yeah, it's just really great to have great people, and yeah, now I just facilitate what they need. I set the direction. They tell me if it's achievable. They tell me when they're going to achieve it. Outside of that, they tell me when they need me, and I just leave them alone. So one thing we're doing now is we're expanding into multi-language. We're doing great numbers now. We're now going to expand into
that in the private like community.
Yeah. So expanding multi-language, which is a huge thing. It's a big infrastructure move. So all I'm doing for it is setting up the bank accounts and the businesses with the different territories. Outside of that, all of them, they're all figuring out between themselves, translations here, translations there, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. They're all figuring it out between themselves.
Wow, that's amazing. So is there like anyone like, so currently your position is like CEO still, or it's more kind of like what, how would you define yourself? Because these people like still like you probably still as a kind of like as a leader for them, and it will probably maintain like till the end, like till you sell the company. So how like, or did you try to hire like, hey, this is the CEO, like you should talk to, like this will be like
no. I'm the CEO and leader for sure, but now I'm more CEO / mentor and leader. I'd say I'm more mentor than anything else. Like, yeah, they trust in me. Like now we've changed direction completely on the vision of what we're going to end up doing. They trust that when I present, because the thing is, I don't just take a decision and say we're doing this. I actually present to my team, because at the end of the day, they're the ones working with me to execute this stuff. So when I present something to them, they question it voraciously. They have questions. They want to know the reasons, and I explain to them. I don't tell them, I explain. And then they come on board. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the right move. Let's go for it. So now we've completely gone in a completely different direction as to how we're going to scale the brand and build the business. Yeah, they're 100% behind it. And yeah, I just focus on how we're going to get there, which is it's a big thing we're looking to do.
Hey guys, people have been asking me how we scale to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook. And we have a very sophisticated solution for this that I want to share with you, but it's just like too valuable to give away for free. So if you guys want this solution, just book a call with one of my team members and we'll show you exactly what it is and how it works, and we'll see if that's a good fit for you and for your business. So just book a call with my team member. We'll share it with you so you can scale your business to multiple 6 figures or even 7 figures per month without getting shut down on Facebook, without having inconsistency, and with high profitability. So just book a call with my team and I'll see you there.
Man, like I remember we had this conversation on Skype 2 days ago, and you told me like instead of like all of these different projects, you just want to focus on like, and I was thinking like, because last time we had a conversation, you said like you want to make it like a framework. And I mean, obviously that's probably possible, but I was thinking about all the complexities that would go into that, like the size of the team that you would like have to grow, like, just to maintain that like growth in that direction. So tell me kind of like what was the trigger for that, and what kind of like what changed?
What changed is just that a bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush. And the thing that really...
Can you say that again? Because I'm like, that's like some English, British. Like,
yeah, it's an English, like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Like if you've got a bird here, why are you still looking in the bush to find other birds? Focus on the one that you have in your hand. So it's kind of like that saying. And what did it was this. Me and my partner, who is the head of manufacturing, we're now like, because all the sales that we're doing are pre-order. So we're going to do, depending on the numbers, we're going to do anywhere from 20 to 30 million this year, right?
Okay.
So, and this is all pre-order before we've even delivered the product. But because our product is so amazing, like we're going to revolutionize a whole industry. And you know what the product is like. We're going to revolutionize this industry, right?
Yeah.
And because of what it actually is that we've made, we kind of realized that look, after speaking with my head of manufacturing, it's like, Sam, once we've done this, we can take this technology and we're going to spend like a couple $100,000. We've already got all the patents rolling now. It's going to cost us like a couple $100,000 for all the patents, bulletproof the whole thing. We can take this tech and apply it to so many different other products in this niche that it's just like, what the fuck are we doing looking at anything else? We had people researching this and this and looking into this and this, and the product design team had like 3 or 4 projects on the go. And then in the end, me and him were like, why don't we just do this? We had a call with the designers. We're like, look, why don't we just go all in on this? They were all like, do you know what they said when I said it? They were like, oh, thank God, Sam, I've been wanting to tell you this for ages. And I was like, why the fuck didn't you just tell me then? So now we're all in on this. We're not doing anything else. We then presented this to the company, and the thing that really triggered it was this. Not only did we have we're on the verge now of finalizing what would be like phenomenal. We're going to hopefully get into manufacturing in the next, let's say 1 month, but we've really spent a lot of money on the engineering, like, right? So now we're ready to go big with this thing. We've perfected the product. People are going to get a better product than they paid for originally. Now, we started researching other brands in the niche, and we started seeing case studies of brands that launched, like the whole industry is very antiquated. It's very old school, this industry. It hasn't really changed in a long time. We saw a couple of brands that launched like 10 years ago, and they've grown to be worth 500, 600, 700 million. And they're nothing brands in this niche, nothing brands, right? So when we were like, well, we started breaking them down, and we realized they had global distribution. They're not even selling online. These guys aren't selling online. They have a website.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they have a website and stuff, but they're not really selling online. It's all just like global distribution. So we started scratching our heads like, well, hold on. Based on what we're seeing on our figures online, once we get this thing done and manufactured and start delivering, we'll easily be able to do.
And like once people see your product in the fucking store,
yeah,
it's like it's done, it's sold. It's like that's it, game over.
So this is the thing, and we're like, well, if we're going to do 50 to 100 next year, which we can easily do, and then the year after that, the sky's the limit. If we add this aspect of it as well, and these guys are doing anywhere from 2 to 400 million offline through distribution globally, then if we put those two together, there's actually more money in distribution. So now we've got it nailed with the online, and we're going to grow that exponentially. I'm going to be raising capital in a Series A round start of next year to really go big. I'm going to be raising anywhere from 10 million plus. We're really going to go big with it. We're also going to go heavily online, going to all the trade shows, signing contracts all over the globe with distributors. Like, yeah, it's so this now is the business model we are doing all the research for, so I can really equip myself to be the CEO who can take this company to the level where, you know, we can have a B next to our name. So the e-commerce is great and we're crushing it there. We're going to continue to crush it. But I think I've stepped up to thinking to myself, I'm not in e-com. I'm actually just the business owner who has an e-com division for his business. There's also this whole other industry now, whole other division, this whole other landscape, which I have to go and master, which can bring me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times what my e-com is. And on top of that, it normalizes our manufacturing. So every month we'll be getting orders from all around the globe, putting in orders for, you know, tens of thousands of units every single month without me paying a single marketing dollar for. Yes, I have to give up 40 to 50% of my profit margin, but I'm not spending a single penny on marketing to generate these customers in territories where I would have no ability to get those customers with the marketing traditional channels we have now. So yeah, when this really opened our eyes at the minute, all I do every day is reading case studies, downloading all the company reports from the listed companies in our niche, reading all their company reports non-stop for the last 20, 30 years. We hired someone to do research for us. We're going to completely break this down, have a complete bulletproof business model, and then go raise 10 plus million for Q1 next year and just blow this thing like to the moon, man. This is our plan.
Wow, this is amazing. I think this is kind of like because you see guys in our community, like other guys you see, and it's like, okay, I'm drop shipping today, and like next year I'm drop shipping, and like 3 years from now I'm drop shipping. There are people drop shipping like since 2017, right? Like you started with like drop shipping, like now you custom product, like unique, right? Now you're thinking not even like beyond even like e-commerce.
Yes.
Right? Beyond e-commerce.
Yes.
Everyone like e-commerce so hyped up, like, but like still like 80-90% of sales, like it's like retail.
The trend is coming more online with obviously COVID and a new way of living, which by the way only adds to our product selling even more because of this new way people are working from home and things like this. But the real truth is people are clamoring to get out the house. Malls, now certain countries that are open again, malls are jam-packed. People want to spend money, and the way the governments of the world have been printing money and there's a lot of liquidity in the system, people want to spend money. And I think that even though, yes, the balance from offline and online, like offline was way up here and online was kind of down here and was creeping up very aggressively over the years. And then COVID has brought the balance even more into check. But now people don't realize that offline is still huge, and it will still forever be probably the hugest aspect of how people shop, because people love to get out. And now more than ever with COVID, they realize this. So yeah, if you have a custom, and that's why I always say, look, if you're going to get into this e-com game, don't see it as getting into the e-com game. You're a business owner. Try and always prioritize having a great product. Try and create something unique, create something new, because that is the bedrock of actually growing a huge brand. It's not your ads. Yes, you have to have great ads, great creatives, great team, but the bedrock is your product. You live and die by what customers get when they get the knock on the door that something has arrived, and the unboxing and then the using of the product. That's actually the bedrock. So I always encourage people, if you can build a brand, do it.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so that kind of like transition to the retail, right? That like what you mentioned about like raising capital, that's for sure, because you will have to, I mean, the terms with like retails, like it's cash intensive, right? Like it's probably not for every business. So in terms of kind of like growing that direction, do you want it to be like self-funded? Like, do you want, like, for example, online to pay for all of that expansion, or you planning to have like multiple rounds of funding and just kind of like scale faster that way?
So that's a good question. Now, I've been speaking to, obviously I've been researching this for a while now. I'm going to be on this for the next 6-7 months. I've been speaking to a few friends of mine who actually are in this space. And I had the same misconception, because you're right. the business model of offline is completely different compared to online. They're worlds apart. You can't even consider them the same thing. So the payment terms are different, the cash flow is different, the margins are different. What I was thinking as well is that, well, isn't this going to kill my cash flow? I'm going to need to invest loads of money in inventory, send it out. All the big brands, they're going to want consignment, you know, because they're not going to want to put money in without knowing it's going to sell. And so after doing some more research and digging, it's like, actually, no. When you have a product like yours, Sam, that you've completely validated where you're doing the numbers you're doing, let alone what you'll be doing once you deliver the product, they will be kicking your door down to work with you. A friend of mine actually does distribution, and in a certain area, I can't remember which area of the world it was, they paid him an advance, cash upfront, not repayable, an advance in order to distribute that product exclusively in that area. So he actually says, no, when you actually have a product like yours, when the product is good enough, they will happily pay ahead of time. They will happily pay ahead of time. And when you then know how to structure this properly, then yes, you can grow really, really fast without needing to put huge amounts of cash up front to build inventory that you hope sells. No, you get them the orders in. They tend to pay anywhere from 30 to 50% once you find a good distributor and they're selling through. Obviously, they're not going to start with crazy numbers initially. They're going to put in a small batch, test the waters. But once they know it's selling, they'll just, every month, they'll just be ordering more and more and more, because those lines of distribution and sales are very stable. And then there's another layer to where e-commerce and distribution comes hand in hand. So as we've been researching, and one thing you'll notice with huge brands, they do this as well. Let's take McDonald's or Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
They're in every country in the world and they have franchises, but they have a headquarters in the USA. In the USA headquarters, they run marketing campaigns all the time. But what they actually do is they build marketing campaigns white label. So then once it's white labeled, they can give all the content to their distributors or their sales channels around the world. They whack their own language on it and they run the ads as well. It's the same thing for us. So when we're making all this great content for our online stores in our territories, in the areas where we run exclusively, because I'm going to keep the English speaking territories to myself, right? And hire someone and do all of that. But in outside of English speaking territories where I can't make any ground, I'll sign with someone. They'll have exclusivity based on them hitting certain numbers. And with our marketing content, we'll give everything to them in their language, translated, white labeled. So it makes it easy for them to run ads, do marketing, do video. Like, you don't realize, as much as Facebook is big, you don't realize how much bigger the world actually is. So there's lots to this game when you actually start thinking at this higher level. So I'm still figuring it all out. There's more questions than answers at the minute, but just to give you some insights into things I didn't even realize were going on. But then once you start looking, so, oh shit, yeah, it's true. The ad I see here in America is exactly the same ad you see in South Korea. It's just that they've got different text and a different voiceover, but it's the same ad. So these are the sorts of things we're now we're discussing as a team and how we would do this, etc.
Man, this is, again, I think it comes down to, like, if you like, okay, so drop shipping, like, that's just like one industry, right? Like, or this, like, only one channel, right? It limits you, like, and you put like a certain ceiling, right, on what can actually be done, because there's only like so many like Facebook ads you can buy at the end of the day.
Yeah, the margins are lower, but also the cost of marketing becomes zero. I mean, there's still a lot to it. I'm sure there's still a million things I'm yet to learn. There are going to be hurdles I need to jump, but so far, yeah, this is definitely the right direction for us alongside our e-commerce. So we're still going to be going big with the round A. I'm only going to raise probably 10 to 12 million maximum. If I can get away with 8, I probably will do, to give away as little equity as possible. But we've already proven the model. We've proven the sales. We've proven the product. Yeah, so I'm going to get that, go all in with our e-com. I'll be splitting the money, maybe like 70, 80% towards the e-com side, and then 20% to get the distribution side off and running. And then after that, the orders will hopefully start rolling in, and then that should self-fund itself. Since I'm not going to be working with distributors who want consignment, I've got enough numbers. I'm making enough money online not to need to do that. So yeah, fuck them if they don't want to sign up. I'm going to have plenty of people who do. So going to all the trade shows as well around the world, I'm going to build a team to do that, going around to all the shows, taking the product, signing contracts. So yeah, it's a whole new world I need to become an expert in. So I'm looking forward to it.
I just today, I was on Instagram and I found this, like, I see the ads, it's basically like ice cream. The ad, advertising for ice cream. I'll send you. So the name of the company is like Nix. It's called like Nix. So it's like Swedish ice cream. I don't even know like how they like they started like 1 year or two like years ago. First year they've done like $10 million in sales, and you can see like they raised like $30 million. So based on that probably initial like validation they have achieved with, you know, and I was saying I see the ads on like on in Instagram saying like, geez, can you buy like can you sell like ice cream? So even like, but it's the same, you know, it's like, okay, they sell online probably more like for awareness. I don't know if they're like actually very profitable on that side, but the pack of the ice cream is like fucking $10. So it's like,
Jesus.
oh, actually, it's like 20, like 2014. So they've been around like for more than I saw it. But so that's the same hybrid, right? Like Whole Food stores, like United States, probably some Europe as well, kind of like combined distribution, online and like offline. And that has like a massive scale potential.
Yeah, and as you can see, that's ice cream. Ice cream's been around forever.
How can you still like ice cream? Like, gee, I'm so like, you know, and I'm seeing these things, and as you said as well, like you're checking these like you're checking the reports from like public companies, their like financials and stuff.
Yeah, every company in our niche that's publicly listed, I've already got, I haven't started going through them yet. My team are getting them for me. I'm getting all their annual reports and just reading it, not just the financials, but their outlook, the challenges they've gone through, how they've expanded. So it's actually going to be really interesting and fascinating to read from when they were operating in 1980, the 90s, then the 2000s, and then now obviously where we are now. I'm going to be really fascinated to see how they grew and evolved and what challenges they had. Because they have to put this out into public record, right? Because they're publicly listed. So it's really going to be a great, like, I'm going to take 2 weeks, turn everything off, and just go through all of this in detail with another senior person in my team and really break it down so that we can build a business model that we know really, really works. And then, yeah, not just get ready for investment in Q1, but really have it nailed so my team understands what the vision is, because they're the ones who are going to do it. They're the ones who are going to build it. We're all on this mission together. Every Monday, we read the mission to ourselves. We know what our mission is. We know that we have to get to $1 billion valuation by end of 2025. This is our aim. So yeah, it's a wild ride. Whether we get there or not, I don't know. But yeah, we're bloody well doing everything we can to make sure we do. So we'll see.
Man, that's awesome. So in terms of the people want to like always like some tactical things. So in terms of kind of the like share, like stock options, for example, you mentioned like stock options. How do you structure that? Like how kind of like, you know, how do you structure the stock options for the?
It's a good question. I don't know yet. We're definitely going to do it though once we raise money. For now, we haven't got anything written in contracts, but because when you raise money, one thing raising money does, it makes you clean up your act, right? It makes you get all your ducks in a row financially, accounting, business. So we're going to have to get all of that stuff ready for the money. I mean, when the money comes, I'm going to give stock options to the team who were with us from the beginning. So there's like 3 people who I'm going to give stock options to. I'm not going to give it to everybody in the team. That wouldn't be fair. But the people who are with us from the beginning, like the original crew, you know, the founders, they're going to get stock options. I'm going to give them really, really good stock options as well, because I expect them to be with me. You know, it's not just about the job. These, like, all of them are women, by the way. No, one of them's a guy. So it's me 4 people, but 3 of them are women, and these women are going to have kids. They're starting families. One of them's getting married this year. So, you know, they're going to be with us for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Who knows, even longer. So it's not just about the business. It's about their lives, you know. So they need to feel secure and confident that, yeah, what I'm doing here matters, and I have a piece of this. So yeah, I'm really excited to do that and take that step with them. And yeah, it's going to be great, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So in terms of one of the things you mentioned, that you haven't invested significant amount of money and energy into like obtaining the patents, right? Yeah. For your product specifically. So, I mean, we haven't developed any like custom products yet, you know, we haven't been through that like whole cycle as you have been through. Like, so how is it working? Like, do you invent something kind of like, do you even have kind of like that intention to make something different and then patent it in the first place when you kind of like, or how do you do it? Or you just like, let's say you have some concept and you create something from absolute scratch and then you patent it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of a question that has no answer. You have to go with the flow of it. One thing I would tell everybody is, like, you don't need to necessarily revolutionize the world with a product. Yeah, okay, our product is very unique. Our product is very revolutionary, like, you know, right, Alex? But you don't necessarily, like you just showed with ice cream. These guys are raising 30 million and building, you know, an ice cream brand worth hundreds of millions of dollars,
Yeah,
and it's ice cream. So you don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. But what I would say is that there is no right and no wrong. We have a very strict criteria of, well, I would say as a criteria of what we look for to launch new brands, but we're not launching any new brands from now on. So I'm happy to show everybody what the criteria is. But the criteria is very, very strict for us because we know, or we knew in mind, that we wanted to have something that we could patent and really grow big. But you don't necessarily have to patent it, but there's other things that you have to have with the product in order for you to, and I really encourage you all, if you're doing e-com at the minute, if you're doing drop shipping and making good money, in the back of your mind, you should be thinking to yourself, how can I take one of my best-selling products and evolve it into a customizable thing that I can build into a brand? Please always have that in the back of your mind, because if you can find something that fits the criteria, then you are going to have something like magical to do what we're doing. And it's not rocket science. Like, it really, really isn't. I'm going to try and see if I've got it in front of me here, what the criteria is. Yeah, I actually have it. So I can actually share screen and show everybody what the criteria is. So let me quickly share this here. Okay, let me know when you can see the screen, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a bit too.
Wow, that's a clean desktop, man.
No, it's not, because I've got multiple screens. On the screen where I actually have everything, it's a fucking shit show. But on the separate screen.
Geez, man, like, is that like for real? Like, is it, you know, entrepreneurs, right? Like fucking 100 tabs and like 100 things on the desktop.
You name it, man. So this is our criteria, and
okay,
so
physical product.
Yeah, so it has to be physical, obviously, goes without saying. It has to be a ubiquitous product. What does that mean? If you want to scale, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but I'm talking, this criteria is if you want to scale big and look to build $1 billion brand, right? You don't necessarily need to have every single one of these, but I would advise to try and do as much of this as possible. So it has to be a physical product, right? It has to be ubiquitous, i.e., it has to be something that everybody by and large uses. It has to be everywhere. It has to be in every home, or, you know, it has to have, you know, at least, like, it has to be ubiquitous. Anyone who's not knowing what that term means, Google it, it will make sense. It has to be everywhere. And it also has to have ubiquitous customers. The customers also must be everywhere. You just can't have them in one area, one territory. They need to be everywhere. So that's very, very key. Then another thing is you have to be able to find companies that have multi-billion market caps in that industry. Like, it's very, very important. Like, you must be able to find multiple companies that are $1 billion capped, so that you know there's room for you to grow to that level as well. Remember, this is a criteria for building $1 billion brand. The product obviously must solve a problem. Most people have heard that before. Another thing that's key is the product needs to be demonstrable, because you need to get this brand off the ground, and you're going to do it first with e-com, right? Before you do any sort of distribution. So if you've got e-commerce, the benefit of e-commerce with the ads and Facebook and Google and YouTube, the benefit is you can tell stories on these platforms. So if you have a product that has a lot that it can be shown about it, you can show it like this and like this, and it can do this and it can do that. Like, the more demonstrable it can be, the better and easier it's going to be for you to make content non-stop. So that's another key thing. The product ideally should be functional in some way. Like, it needs to have some sort of function that gives it its uniqueness. This is another thing that if you can do it, it would be really, really great. The product has to be mass producible. If you can't, like, don't do something that's custom made. If you have to customize every unit, you're going to fall into a lot of problems in order to scale to $1 billion brand. It has to have an innovative design, if possible. Like, you have to try and make the design, like, it has to be striking in its niche. It can't just be something that's already there or dull. Like, the more you can invest into the design of the product, the easier it is to build $1 billion brand as well. Another thing, it has to be Instagrammable and YouTubeable. What does that mean? When you then, like, get the product ready and manufactured and you're scaling, influencer marketing needs to be a huge aspect of the brand. You've got to be able to send it to YouTubers, and they should naturally want to make content about your product. You shouldn't be something that has to convince them. If your product isn't compelling enough for YouTubers and Instagram like influencers to be like, shit, I want this, I want to make content about it. Again, you're going to struggle a lot to build $1 billion brand. So you need to have those two facets is very, very important. And it's got to be something they find sexy. It just can't be something that's boring and dull. And like, if the more engaging the content is that's made about your product through third parties, and the more sexy it is for you and your team to make content, it's really going to make the ride easier long term. Again, has to be something that's patentable and defensible. You don't necessarily have to have patented and defensible products. Just like the ice cream, there's nothing patented about that, and they still are growing to huge, 9 figures. So you don't necessarily need that part of it, but if you can, I would advise that you do. It's worth it for the longevity of the brand. And last but not least, the last two, don't make a product that violates any sort of Facebook or YouTube policy. So for example, nothing with hemp, because the second you have that word there, no ads are going to run on any platform. So try and avoid anything that would break any laws or policies, and try not to make any claims, anything that could be controversial to get your ads banned on these platforms. Because at the end of the day, for the first 1 or 2 years, you're going to be very reliant on ads on digital to grow the brand. So you want to have as minimal controversy as possible. So this is the evergreen criteria that we've used to get to where we are now. And I advise everybody to try and think of a product that fits inside this and go for it. And then once you get that brand, once you've got that one off the ground, scrap everything else that you're doing and go all in on this. That's what I would advise.
All of our products fit that criteria. It's just like the last two, like they're pretty aggressive, you see. So, but it's also depends on the messaging, right? Like we use aggressive messaging to sell them. Yeah, I think that is a bottleneck at the end of the day.
But it's just about having it in mind, and then lightning will strike. Like, I've been doing this now for nearly 4 years. It took me 3.5 to 4 years to get here. So, but it seems like a long time standing here looking 4 years on. But 4 years into it, I look back, I'm like, shit, that's flown by like this. So as long as you have it in mind, and you keep doing what you're doing, even if you're drop shipping or selling on Amazon, whatever it is, if you have it in mind with this criteria, eventually lightning will strike. And when it strikes, go all in on doing it. Just go all in. Like, you've got nothing to lose. Like, it's the next step in your evolution to make your own products, build your own brands, and go for it, man. Go for the B. Go for the B. Why not?
In that respect, I think we could do better. It's like, that's interesting. That's interesting. So in terms of the team structure, since our last call, so you made those adjustments with the team. So 8 team leaders. Any like key people that you have hired that like you didn't realize like you needed those people before?
Yeah, from the team, one that I would say is key is our business intelligence guy, Imran. Really smart guy, such a smart dude from Asia. He used to be not customer service, but he was the rep that managed the Philip Morris call centers, I think in India or Pakistan, I'm not sure which one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he managed all of them, like hundreds and hundreds of reps. He didn't do the customer service part. He did something to do with like the managing of the team, the time logging. Like, basically this guy, like, I didn't know spreadsheets were a thing until I started business. And I said it on the last call, and I'll say it again. In order for you to become great at business online, you have to be phenomenal at spreadsheets. And I've never seen anyone more phenomenal than Imran. This guy with spreadsheets is on a completely different level. I didn't even know you could do the things that he does with spreadsheets. We brought him in to do all our accounting and everything. And he's been such a revelation. He's done so well that we've now just promoted him to be our head of basically, he has a word for it. It's not business, it's business intelligence. So he manages all the data in the business in any area. He coordinates all of it. And now we're going multi-language. We're going to build a whole team underneath him. He's quit his job already. We're paying him way more than he was earning before, plus all the bonuses he's going to get. We see him as someone who's going to be with us for years and years and years to come. He's going to be the one orchestrating this team of business intelligence, doing all the tax, all the accounting, mapping all the way data is shared within the team. One thing the team actually requested, which is really, really interesting, on last week's book club, they said, we want Imran to train us all how he does spreadsheets. Everyone in our company is so impressed by his spreadsheets. And like, we want Imran just to do a masterclass with all of us on how to do spreadsheets better. So everyone in our team who's a leader works in spreadsheets to a high level, but they all see what Imran is doing and they're like, holy shit, like, I thought I was good until I saw this guy. Yeah, that would probably be the surprise hire that is really taken our data to a whole new level.
Wow, that's awesome. And so, do you use like Power BI or anything like that?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Power BI is like business intelligence tool. It's kind of like, you can ask the guy, for sure he knows about it. Like, it's kind of like consolidating all of the like different like dashboards into one like visual view. So you can kind of like at any given point, you can see what is going on with the business.
No, we don't, but for sure that's going to be on his radar. Right now, he's currently doing the research to figure out how we're going to do the consolidation of all the multi-language stores we're going to have. Yeah. So he's putting together a plan to manage all the accounting and admin behind that. But yeah, at some point, I'm sure we're going to need to invest in a high-level tool that will allow him to visually put all this. I'm a very visual person. And when it's funny, when Imran started, right, doing stuff, he was doing stuff like a proper accountant and this and that, like, you know, he was doing it properly. And I thought, Imran, this is hurting my brain, man. The way he was explaining the spread, and you got to do this, like, Imran, it's hurting my brain. And so eventually, after about a month into the job, I'm like, Imran, cut the crap, right? Me and you are going to have a call, sat down with him for like 2 days, explained, and I built a very simple A plus B equals C spreadsheet that for him is like, fucking hell, I could do this like drinking a Coke standing on my head. But once I gave him a framework that at least I could use to see simply, he then took that, built on it, and he's given me something that is simple for me to use, but then also gives him the structure. So when it comes to doing accounting, because we've got businesses in the US, UK, Hong Kong, it allows him to do all the accounting things according to the letters of the law, but allows it to work as a company. And we'd never be able to do that without his input. So,
oh, really? Like he does like P&Ls and stuff too?
Bro, this guy is another level. He does everything, man. Does everything. Yeah.
How did you find him?
By luck. We were hiring. I can't remember what we were hiring for. I don't know if anyone remember the first interview we had. I always tell people, I don't hire for positions anymore. I find great people, I bring them into the company, I figure out what to do with them. So I can't remember what we were hiring for. I really can't remember what it was. But we came across his CV. I didn't even want to look at it. And Monica just like, oh, have a look at this guy. I remember it. So just have a look at this guy. I looked through and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, sure. And I had a call with him. And we had a call. First call was like, you know, because, you know, you speak to lots of people and most of them are shit. I was like, yeah, we had a call. And then we had a second call.
So he was initially like a freelancer, like Upwork or something?
No. I can't even remember how we found him. So I had a call. Nothing really came of it. Then he took the test task, right? And I was like, holy shit, who made this? It's like, oh, that Imran guy. I was like, get him on the phone. I got him on Skype again. I was like, did you make this? He goes, yeah, I do this, and I've done this, and I've done this. And it was like, did you not tell me this before? He's a very reserved guy. Like, he's very reserved.
If you want to get a free course on transitioning from dropshipping to 8-figure e-commerce brands and also on scaling e-commerce businesses with high profitability, there should be a link below. Apply, just fill your information. You will also get access to the private community of 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs. Now, this link is only for people who already do at least $30,000 per month or more in sales and want to scale their sales, want to scale their profitability, want to avoid banned ad account issues. So if that's you, just apply for that. There should be a link in the description. Click on it, get free resources. It's completely free of charge, and you'll get a lot of value out of it. So make sure you click, get access, and let's get back to the video.
That's it, man. For those type of people, they're very like introverts typically.
Yeah, he talks like this, and you know, he doesn't really brag about anything.
Those are perfect people, man. So how much every business needs like both type of people like us who can talk, and then people who can actually be behind the scenes and like work with data. Our media buyers are also like, they're very like introvert, you know. Like, how is that? Okay, how much they pay the guy?
Oh, I don't want to say. I feel bad. I don't want to say.
Okay.
But put it this way, Imran is going to end up being on par, because what we like to do in our company, we like to start people off with he already earns like 50% more than he was earning working a normal job, going to back and forth from the office. So we already pay him way more than he was earning anyway. Plus we give him commissions every quarter. But as the company grows, and one thing I always say to people, I don't get people for as cheap as I can. I pay what is fair. So as we grow now to these multi-language, he has a team underneath him, Imran's salary will be getting increased probably quarterly as we grow, or at least bi-yearly. And on top of that, he'll be getting a bigger and bigger slice of the pie of the profits at the end of the quarter, because we split profits based on people's contribution. And as we're doing all this, his contribution is going to grow and grow and grow. So Imran probably in the next, let's say 1 year, he'll be taking home easily, like, especially since he lives in, I'm not sure, I feel really bad if Imran's watching this, whether it's India or Pakistan, but he's going to be taking home multiple thousands, probably on average each month. And if we grow to the levels we expect to grow to, it's going to be way, way higher than that in the next few years, potentially. So yeah, he's going to end up being a very rich man from everything that we're doing, just because of how valuable he is, how much hard he works. Yeah, so he's going to end up being like definitely the richest guy in his village by a long, long way, if you get the pun. So yeah, I'm really happy we found him. And it was hard for him as well because he's a very reserved guy. He's had that job for many, many years. Even when he handed in his notice, he handed in his notice with a very heavy heart, but he was like, there's a new world now. Everyone's working from home. I see that you guys are legit.
Okay, so so he transitioned from his like full-time job at like
yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah. He was doing this for many years for Philip Morris. And then he transitioned to us. He worked for us part-time for 1 month to test him out. And we were so like, this guy is just a completely different level. After 1 week, I'm like, Imran, hand in your notice. And he still didn't. He was still unsure. He wanted to see what we were about. And then once he started, because he's a mature guy, he's got kids, a family, he can't take these decisions lightly. But then after working with us very shortly, and he saw the numbers in the business, and he was like, holy shit, these guys are posting numbers that for him are probably like never seen. And obviously for us, when we're talking about making 30, 40, 50, 60K a day, for us in our world, it's like, we need to be pushing. For someone like him, he sees this every day, every week. He's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is incredible. So once he saw the stability in the company and the numbers, then he felt more comfortable to, okay, yeah, I'm ready to hand in my notice now and take this step with you guys. And it's been a phenomenal hire for sure.
So I think there's something like, so you don't look for people on Upwork or like regular platforms where everyone looks?
They do. I don't look for people anymore. I have someone who does all of that. We kind of find people in the strangers of places.
What, head of talent acquisition or head of HR?
Our COO handles that at the minute, but we are going to need, especially when we take this step up, we are going to need to have someone full-time just doing that. But like I said, when we stumble across people, we don't really care about the position. We care about them. Once we find great people, we bring them in. Like for now, I hired a friend of mine who I used to work with like 10 years ago. And he was actually got caught up in some not so savory, a few unsavory things. And then he ended up behind bars for a short while. And he contacted me like 7 months ago and was like, how you doing, mate? Blah, blah. And we just crossed paths and was like, oh, bro, how you been? Like I really love the guy. We lived together for a while. I was like, how you been, bro? Started talking, he explained the situation. He had no idea about my success. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this guy's successful immediately. He had no idea. He was just behind bars, bored, thought let him reach out to some friends. I started showing him what we were doing because he was into marketing at the time as well. Me and him, I was a sales director and I hired him as my marketing director when I was working a normal job. And we worked together for a while. And so once I showed him all the stuff we were doing, he was like, holy shit, mate, this is incredible stuff. I'm like, well, what are you doing when you get out? He's like, I don't know. It's like, come and join our team. And he was like, really? He couldn't believe it. He was so happy that, like, because it's hard when you get out and stuff. So I was like, just join our team, man. What you're going to do, I don't know, right? But join us, learn, and from there, you'll figure out what to do. And now he's just started our Taboola, and he's going to be, his aim for next quarter, get Taboola to 7 figures a month. That's his aim. He's all in on that. So just find best people and put them to work. And yeah.
And like for Taboola, by the way, you can connect your goals. So inside of our community, I can introduce you directly to Carl. Have you chatted with Carl?
No. I haven't done anything.
Yeah, like this guy is killing it on Taboola, and like he gave me like,
so this guy's a pro with Taboola, right? Because we've literally he basically joined the company like a month ago. He's been learning the ropes with everybody, being on calls with everybody, and he's like, right, I'm gonna go for Taboola. I'm gonna get this to 7 figures because he's seen the numbers we're doing. So yeah, so anything, if you can hook me up with this guy so I can have a call with him and really give us the ropes, that would be fantastic.
Let me do this like right away. So I'll just like introduce you. And so he basically just gave me the whole kind of like Taboola is a lot about the placements, right? Like where you put the ads, because a lot of them are just junk. And so this guy has like exclusion list of all of the placements where you should not advertise. So you pretty much like you know, he gave me like list of like things where to start. He gave me like list of things where I just had a call with him like last week because we want to get on native as well. And he's British too, so that's added bonus.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, if you could hook me up with him, then that's just perfect. It just goes to show how the stars align. It's perfect timing. We literally got the account set up. I prepaid. Well, I got the Chinese guys to set me up an account there, prepaid it with 5K. So now we're just, yeah, he's got the creatives back from the creative team yesterday. Literally just getting all the pixeling put on the website now. So literally he was going to start building some campaigns this week. So it's actually perfect timing. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, man. That's it. Yeah, you guys probably would have like a call together, and he'll give you kind of like the rundown because he's been doing that for some time now. And other guys, Joy and Tyler in the community.
Yeah, Joe and Tyler. Yeah, I know them very well. Yeah, I'll speak to. They don't know I was going to do it, so I'll tell them about that when the time comes and get some advice from them as well.
Correct. Yeah. So they've been doing native, I think as well. So we have a couple of people that might help you out to get.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thanks, man.
Man, that's like such a good conversation. So in terms of the Facebook, anything kind of like that changed for you in terms of like creatives, like tasks?
Yeah, we're testing more. One thing we're testing we're testing a lot more creatives now. And one thing we're testing a lot is we're actually repurposing a lot of content in a nice way. So we've got a lot of 16:9 content. And what we've done is we'll put banners, like a really nice, like a visual dynamic banner underneath that changes, like fades as the video is being played. So those ads are actually converting really, really well. The click rates are really, really good. So normal 16:9 video, we obviously put the subtitles. Then underneath, we have like a big section to make the 16:9 square. You see what I mean? And in that section, we have a really nice, strong, we took the best visuals and creatives from the image ads and basically condensed it down into that section underneath. So it really is having really good engagement. Another thing that we're testing is having someone at the start of the video silently do 3, 2, 1, and then it has the number as well flashing here. That also seems to work really, really well. And then having the 3, 2, 1 at the end as well seems to be working well. So we're testing a bunch of different things that are giving us some joy, but we're just really into testing a lot more things now, I'd say, for our ads in Facebook. And we're still kind of hitting the brake paddle because we don't want to go all in until the product is ready and we start delivering to everybody and going big that way. So yeah, we're really looking forward. But one thing we are doing is we're expanding languages. And I've got so many friends of mine who are already doing, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, sometimes 100K a day in German, in Swedish, in Dutch, and in French. And they're like, Sam, if you just take what you're doing now and just do multi-language, you'll get to 200K a day without even doing anything different than what you're doing, just by translating. So that's the next big step for us, which is the multi-language stores. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Facebook is Facebook, nothing, same shit, different toilet. The only good thing is the Chinese accounts are working really well. No bans, no suspensions anymore. Everything is completely smooth.
You said agency account or?
Yeah, the Chinese agency accounts, doing really well.
Nice. The Abby?
Yeah, Abby, doing really, I've got to say, I'm really impressed by them. Really nice, really great communication. They're doing really well by us. So I've got to.
That's good, man. Yeah, we have now like so many options for the agency accounts, more and more. And and also like we might also have our own like agency.
That would be good, man. Those rebates, why not get them if you can get them? Why not?
Yeah. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
And in terms of tracking on Facebook, anything kind of like, did your tracking like get messed up after?
Yeah, man. Our tracking is fucked. Like in Facebook, our average ROAS is 1, right? But on the actual results, me and Serhi talk about it all the time, but our actual results are around 2.2 to 2.4 on average across the thing. So we're losing like 60% plus in attribution. But I'm going to be, funny enough, I spoke to the guys at Hyros today.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to be, because they showed me how it can help a lot anyway with us. So at least even though Facebook might not know, at least we can see better where the results are coming from. Because losing 6% is huge with data, right? It's huge. So if that can help us a lot, then we're going to be taking taking that on board. But yeah, man, if you look at our ad accounts, it shows dog shit. But then when you look at the accounts overall, yeah, we're really doing really well.
I've read in some like high level like conversations. It's basically like it will be like that for a few weeks, because like what happened now is like a lot more people kind of like exclude their kind of like the tracking, from the apps. So the the Pixel has less and less data. So the pool that they have, like for example, you're optimizing for purchase, now you're competing with all other people. CPMs like some of the days crazy. What will happen is like over time it's like, okay, so now it's like Pixel is confused, but when it will come like that adoption, when it will come to the point where it's like kind of like more like stable. So okay, most people adopt it now. It's like pretty much then kind of like it will stabilize. Pixel will learn to relearn and like it will get more normal. So it's literally like few weeks that we have to pass through, for that.
Fingers crossed. Funny enough, what we did do that's worked well? We just cost capped everything in our ad accounts, and it worked really well. Like, yeah, because
how you do that? Like you bidding like 3-4x like KPI or what?
No, we actually did it. So in R1, what we did, we basically set the cost cap to give us around a 2 ROAS, and it's actually outperforming that. It's giving us a bigger than 2 ROAS, and it's not really dropped the results too much at all. We've only done it today. It's the first day we've done it, and the results so far are really phenomenal. Like I just did it on a whim because we turned our ads off on Saturday and Sunday because I think everyone in the world struggled over this weekend. Crazy. One of the poor bastards in our group, he had $1,000 CPM. I was like, I didn't even know CPM could get that.
I've seen that. I mean, we had good days. We had good days last week.
Really? Jesus Christ. Yeah, mate. We were, you could see we were struggling, right? So I turned ads off on 2 days. Then I thought, fuck it. I turned it back on Monday. Okay, we had a crappy day yesterday. We spent 20K. I only hit like a 1.3 something ROAS. Okay, sure. Don't cry about it. Let's do something different. Let's just shake it up, right? And then which is like, okay, let's just put a cost cap of 300 on everything. Boom. Like results just today, it's incredible. Our results are crazy good today. We're hitting like a 2.3, 2.4 right in the day, in the slowest part of the day, because the US is only now waking up. Normally we've got a slow part in the first part, then a big part in the end of the thing, because I'm in Europe. But so far today, it's crazy numbers. So I'm really excited to see what it's going to be when I wake up in the morning. So yeah, it looks like that works, but we'll see.
Cost cap, you said, right?
Yeah, cost cap, yeah.
That's interesting. We'll test it out today.
Yeah. But don't forget, because our account is shit and only attributes 40% of it, we put our cost cap really high. So it's a bit long to explain, but yeah, we looked at it and thought, okay, let's give it this cost cap, whereby even though the thing isn't attributing properly, but if it did it like this in this account, give us a 2 ROAS. So it's a shit show.
Even like, so for example, right, like your desired cost per purchase, like what, like $100, $150?
Yeah, our ideal cost per purchase in a perfect world would be 150.
Okay, so what cost cap would you do in this particular case?
So what we did is so our ideal numbers are 150, but because Facebook is shit, our average conversion, because it's got a 1 ROAS, is around 380, right? So we were like, well, okay, but this is actually the results in the account because it's not attributing properly. So we were like, okay, then let's just put it to 300, as if I'm actually telling Facebook in reality in our account that we're attributing it to 150. So we put it to 300. We put it this morning, and yeah, the results are doing really well.
Because you're more competitive in the auction.
Yeah.
We'll definitely test it. I'll send it to our media buyers to execute.
It's Facebook, it'll work one day, won't work another day. You just got to go with the flow,
It's constant. Yeah, it's constant game.
That's why I want to get native going a lot, have more diversity.
Native was you probably need pre-sales for native. You probably need to pre-qualify people more, pay them. I remember you've been doing those like pre-sales for different like niches, sub niches.
Yeah, we've got it all set up already, thankfully.
Nice.
So we're really looking forward. We really think native can do well for us. It's just about going through the motions. Like the team is doing so much. We're launching native ads. We're doing the multi-language thing. The customer service team are figuring out how the fuck they're going to manage different languages with the comments and stuff.
Businesses like this, right? Like,
yeah.
And then it is like constant cycle. We had
okay, because when I was away, they had it really they didn't have me on top of them, so they had nearly 2 months of no Sam. So it was like the tyrant is away, but it gave them room to breathe, consolidate a lot of stuff, and they made even more money. Then now I'm back, it's like boom, next big initiative, and so everyone is all hands on deck again. So
and sometimes those breaks like so helpful, right? Like just being like disattached for like some time and then looking for everything from a like totally different
yeah,
such helpful. How is like managing? So now you have kiddos, right? So how do you manage? It's like another thing, because I have a son too, and it's like how your life changed, obviously changed. What do you do kind of like to manage it, or you block some time to be with your kids, or like how do you
know how I do it? I'm an everything guy, man. So like I'm not getting any sleep, and plus we got twins as well, right? So it's double trouble. So it's like I'm not getting any sleep pretty much, but it's like I'll have calls. I'll have one of the twins here after feeding time being burped. I'll be burping them, having calls. So work hasn't stopped for me. The only thing that changes, I'm not having video calls as much because I've got one of them around or whatever. So yeah, it does slow you down a bit. My productivity has gone down maybe 30-40%, but in essence, I'm still doing everything as normal. But one thing that is true, I sacrificed work for my children. So they're only going to be young once. And my team is so good that they can pick up a lot of slack. If I can't come to a meeting, one person will take the lead on that meeting. So we try and switch up as much as possible. So I'm very lucky that if I need to, okay, guys, I'm away for the next 4 hours, they know what to do. They know the protocols. So there's not really, I had to miss book club last week because I had to do some family stuff. So yeah, everyone in my team is so well drilled that I'm very, very, very lucky to have them. So, but yeah, that's it, man. I'm all hands on deck. The second we finish here, I'm going to be watching the football with burping one of them, feeding one of them, changing nappies. Like, luckily I work from home on my laptop, so I think I showed you the picture in the group of working on the bed, man. Yeah, it's just get on with it, just get on with it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to connecting. It's very, very interesting because, like the things that you've shared, like, they change a lot, like since our last. I should also remove myself and like, man, but it's very interesting to see kind of like your evolution. Wow, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to see like next things,
We'll be seeing you in Florida soon, which will be great.
Yeah, it'll be good time. It will be good time.
Yeah, it'll be great. First trip I've gone to in like 2 years since this COVID shit. So I'm really, really excited to do that and meet all the guys, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So yeah, and I'm having fun with my YouTube channel as well. Just
I'll link it. So guys, I'll have a link to Sam's YouTube channel.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'll subscribe right now and like just this guy.
And it's not like a typical YouTube channel. Like I don't just talk about ecom. I just go on there 10 minutes, say something that I think is valuable, then let you guys say whether it is or not. I talk about
and it's high level. And it's high level. It's not like
yeah.
It's like
no. I talk about
people, think people who listen to like good level people, So the same was like on my channel, good people, man. Like I don't have like fucking million subscribers. I don't want to have probably like, I don't know, there's like 1 million smart people in the world, for sure there are.
But yeah, I say quality is better than quantity these days.
I used to like, oh wow, like these guys have like so many subscribers. Like no, I mean, like you can have like few thousand like, really, really good people.
Yeah.
Like there was like Tim Ferriss. I think it was like in his book, one of his books. He's popular guy, right? Like the 4-hour work week guy. If he had a choice, like going back, and if he had a choice to be like famous and not famous and have like kind of like the wealth he's accumulated, he would rather be not famous, because there come like, as you become more famous, there are people like there are death threats, there's like crazy people harassing you, like
yeah, of course,
there's a lot of stuff comes from that. And he said, I think there was like a number, it's like to reach like to hit your goal like in life, like even if you want to be like a billionaire, it's sufficient to be known by like 2,000 or like 3,000 people, but good quality people.
Yes.
It's like
so true.
It's like some billionaires I read about, like fuck. I mean, I never like, is this guy like even like like the guy who's if you watch Billions?
Yeah, loved the show. Is that back on yet?
Man, like I don't know, it's craziness. I always said that was the worst thing about COVID, that they stopped shooting like.
I love that show, Axelrod. Oh man, I love that show, man. Love it.
his real life prototype, his name is Steve Cohen or like Cohen, something like that.
Yeah, Steve Cohen. Yeah. I think I know.
Now that guy like doesn't give like doesn't do any interviews. The guy is like, I mean, unless media likes to write about him, but like he doesn't do any interviews. He's like completely kind of like has his own like circle, and there are many ways to achieve what you want in life, right? And not necessarily being famous is not necessarily the vehicle.
Yeah, I've never really clamored for it. What I want is the B next to my name. And everyone always asks me, why do you want to be a billionaire? Why do you want to be a billionaire? And it's like, I always tell people, in the history of mankind, there's estimates around 2,200 odd billionaires, maybe 2,500 billionaires in the history of the world, if you adjust for inflation and the times we're in, right? So in all the human history, there's only 2,000 to 2,500 people who have that B next to their name. Now, the reason I want it next to my name, I'm actually a very modest guy. I don't spend money on a lot, but I want the B next to my name because it proves to me that the world has shown me that I have done something so valuable that so many people in the world cherish it, that they repay me in kind to put a B next to my name. That means I've really, really done something that has impacted the world and therefore myself. So for me, money is just a way to keep score. But the B is to go into a very elite club. There's only 2,000 to 2,500 humans who have that B next to their name. In the history of the billions of humans that have been born, there's only around 2,000 to 2,500. It's the most elite club in the world. And especially in this day and age, millionaires and billionaires get a bad rap. Millionaires are evil, they're greedy, they're this, they take from the rich. I mean, they take from the poor, they line their pockets. Yeah, there are some arseholes, right? But there's also arseholes who are poor who are arseholes. Most billionaires are wonderful people. They're wonderful people. Most billionaires, funny enough, don't care about money. That's the funniest thing. It's just a way to keep score. And if you look at most billionaires, they give back. They have so many charities. They're very philanthropic. They're amazing people. So I want to be part of that club for knowing the world tells me I've done something that's worth that much. That's why I want to be part of the club. So yeah, for me, yeah, I really study being a billionaire a lot. It's a completely different class. And the Axelrod class, people probably look at him like he's portrayed in Billions, the arsehole, doesn't give a fuck about nothing. But if you actually knew the guy, you probably realize he's a phenomenal man. He loves his family, he loves his wife, he loves his kids, he loves his inner circle. People really have a bad portrayal of really wealthy, successful people. But yeah, I don't think it's the case at all. But take that aside, if I was going to be an evil villain, Axelrod would be up there on my list of people to be. I fucking love the guy, man. He's brilliant. He's such a great character, and the acting is brilliant by the guy who used to do from Brody from I've forgotten the other show that he did. Yeah, but
yeah, such a good show. I hope they continue like shooting it short. Sure.
I love it, man. One of my favorite shows of all time.
Awesome, man. So good to connect, and yeah, looking forward to seeing your next successes, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Sam's channel.
Thank you.
Make sure you comment if you have any questions, Sam. If you have like a few minutes on help guys out. And I see we done the previous interview, and then the guy's like massive. Oh man, I watched the interview, I got inspired, and like I customized the 3 products, and like I made them more unique, and like my business has exploded. It's like, geez, man, that's kind of like we're making like it's for now it's like on a smaller scale, but we're making positive impact by doing. And thank you for making the time for this.
No, my pleasure, man. And like you even said, you don't need to have impact millions of people to make a difference. 1 or 2,000 of the right people being impacted can send shockwaves around the world.
These are business owners. They impact. The business grows faster. They hire more people. They impact their families, right? It's
like a multiplier effect. Yeah, if you get the right people, getting the right 10 people will be a bigger multiplier than a million idiots. So no, I completely agree. And thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you found some value. And you all know me anyway. If you're in the channel where I am, reach out to me. I'm very approachable. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, my man. And yeah, see you next one.